And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. Here we are, episode 347. I'm actually going to have to delete something, so there we go. I deleted a story, and it's none of your concern what story it was. It was something from a couple weeks ago concerning... I have to bring it back. Control Shift Z? Oh, Control Z. Excuse me. Command Z. It was about the Corporation of Public Broadcasting Cuts. But it's old. I have to go back on it. Welcome back in. If you're watching the video, you did see me yell at Maverick. You saw me lean off camera and say, gentle. Because he was being gentle. We just have to give him a little bit of a reminder. Now he's drinking water, just lapping it up so loud. Welcome back in. I just watched 2 episodes of Twisted Metal. That is what that show is called. I do like the show. I will say. The show falls in the same territory as Jesus, Maverick, he is so thirsty like me. The show falls in the same territory as shows like Steven Universe. Now there's a gnat inside. Shows like Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake. I want to offer myself. I'm not saying I am the coolest person in the world, but the writers of these shows write groan-worthy lines or 2 internet-facing lines that just make me go, okay, all right. This is the cliche. Again, I'm not saying I'm the person who is the coolest person in the room. However, if you put me in the Twisted Metal or the Steven Universe writers' rooms, and you let these people write their drafts and then pass it by me as the cool person and be like, no, we can't say that. No, that's stupid. No, that's stupid. It'll bring a little bit more legitimacy to these shows. Because there are there are some jokes. And Steven Universe in particular, and I like that show. I watched it when it was on, but this is the show that sparked this idea of a cool writer for me. they say some like just very dorky, nerdy anime type things in ways that people don't speak. And if you want someone to take Steven Universe seriously or Twisted Metal seriously, yes, I understand that these shows are fantastical and blah, blah, blah. But if you want somebody to come back and rewatch these shows and react the same way they did when they watched it, don't have jokes from 1999 on there. Don't say we're going to boogie like it's 1999. Not that I say that is a line that has been said, but in those shows in particular, but it's been said. Anyway, next week is the finale of Twisted Metal, I believe. I think so. August 28th is what I saw on the Wikipedia. When I was looking up who played a certain character who died in the most recent episode. Speaking of things I've seen, I watched Nobody 2. It is, man, I love just a nice, solid action movie. This one actually has a different director than the first one. The first one was directed by Ilya Naishuller, but one of the people, the creator of the John Wick franchise, Derek Kolstad, is behind this series. It was also produced by David Leitch, who is behind the John Wick, the first 2 John Wick films, as well as Atomic Blonde, Deadpool, Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, as well as the Bullet Train movie A movie that was boring because of length, but otherwise it was great. He also did Fall Guy. I love Fall Guy. He's also doing a movie called How to Rob a Bank. Let's see. One person of color, two person of color. Okay, I can watch this movie. That's how I watch movies. It's very true. It's not a joke. Wow, this David Leitch has done every single movie that he's done I've enjoyed. And yes, I enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw. Also, he only did one John Wick. He was the uncredited director with Chad Stahelski. Who is he still with the franchise? Let's see. Filmography. He did all of the John Wicks. He also did Day Shift, a movie I enjoy. He also did Ballerina. He was just a producer on those movies, with the exception of 4. John Wick Chapter 4 was Bruised. Oh, looks like it's a boxing movie starring Halle Berry and directed by Halle Berry. All right, maybe I'll check that out. Anyway, but Nobody 2 was directed by Timo Tjahjanto. I believe he's Indonesian. And I looked at all the movies that he directed with a person named Kimo Stamboel. They're known as the Mo brothers. But I looked at all the movies that they directed and he directed, and they look really fun and fantastic. And Nobody 2 is Timo's first foray into American action movies. He did a really good job. I would say the biggest issue with this movie is that it's 89 minutes long. And for every other movie that I've seen in theaters or at home that has been that short, it hasn't been an issue as of yet. With The Naked Gun, that was 90 minutes, and that was really good and interesting. F1 the movie could have been longer, although I did have to pee at the very last part. I was thinking about Wicked. Wicked and F1 the movie were two movies that I've seen in the last year that I mistimed drinking my water, finishing my water during, because in F1 the movie, F1 the movie I had to go during the movie, which I try not to do, but I think I was like chugging water because it was so hot that day. I biked to the theater, and then I think like 20 minutes in, I was like, I have to go pee, so I ran. And then again, I've told the story when I saw that on this episode. I told the story on this podcast, but I ran out of the theater along with a bunch of other men, and we all peed, and then we all went back into F1 the movie to finish out with empty bladders. And then for Wicked, I was thinking about that this morning in particular because I was listening to Defying Gravity in the shower, and as I was looking down at my penis, and I was listening to Defying Gravity and the film version of the play version, the musical version, and it just brought back this memory of me being in a theater thinking that the movie was almost over. I think roughly 20 to 25 minutes before the movie actually ended. And then I had to bike home. I didn't have to, but I also don't want to use the bathroom at the same time as like people leaving the theater. I try not to use the bathroom in public at all. But anyway, back to Nobody 2. Again, Derek Kolstad co-wrote this movie, and it follows Hutch and his family going on a vacation and trying to be a family. It's really fun and really enjoyable. It moves very quickly. You get to see RZA again. You get to see Christopher Lloyd again. If anything, and Hutch is basically in debt to the barber, as well as the government because of what happened in Nobody 1, which makes sense. But if anything, Sharon Stone does not get enough time to do some crazy stuff, and she's a very crazy actress in this movie. It's wonderful. She also has two henchwomen who are stunt women. They're both stunt women. I had to look it up. First of all, I had to go on IMDb because they weren't credited. I don't think they were credited, but I didn't know their names. They weren't given names. They weren't given names in the movie. What is the name of Sharon Stone's character? Sharon Stone's character's name is Ladina, which is a very funny name. Lindina, excuse me. But they weren't given names in the movie. So I had to go to IMDb when I got home and then just peruse all of the pictures. Again, since they weren't given names, I had to look at all the pictures and click on just random pictures of IMDb and be like, no, yes, no. Anyway, they're fantastic women who now I can't name, apparently. Let me see. Oh, and they're beautiful, obviously. That is 100% the main reason I looked them up. Let's see. Let me scroll to the bottom of my IMDb page. How do you know? Okay, recently viewed. Rochelle Okoye and Megan Hui. They're both stunt women. Excuse me. They're both action women. They're both stunt women, and they did a fantastic job in the movie, fighting and doing stuff. I enjoyed it. I don't think this movie is going to do well enough to warrant a sequel, but I would love to see a sequel in it. At the same time, I would love to see a follow-up to Ballerina. And if not Ballerina, then I would love to see another movie in the world of John Wick. I will not watch the TV show. I will not support Mel Gibson. I don't care how. I'll watch any spinoff of anything. As long I saw there's a Street Fighter movie. I saw there's a Street Fighter movie, and I went great because I was who's the woman playing Chun-Li. She was in something that I was watching. Let's see, Street Fighter 1994 film. Canceled sequel and reboots. Legendary is doing the new Street Fighter movie. And upcoming films. Let me scroll down. All right, so it's coming out in Jesus Christ, Street Fighter. Okay. Noah Centino is going to be in it. Jason Momoa is going to be Blanca. Roman Reigns is going to be Akuma. Orville Peck is Vega. Kalina Liang is Chun-Li. Oh, why did I look her up? Oh, because she was in Presence, a movie starring Lucy Liu. She's playing Lucy Liu's daughter. And for some reason, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is Balrog. So I was going through this list of the cast, and I went, all right, well, it's I guess they're aiming along the same lines as the Mortal Kombat movie, which, no offense, is casted very sporadically. Again, I enjoyed the Mortal Kombat movie, and I cannot wait for the sequel, starring Mehcad Brooks, who I assume left Law & Order so he could do more of these Mortal Kombat movies. But, because he did leave Law & Order, he's leaving this season. I was looking through the cast, and Andrew Scholes is in this movie. And I will not go see that movie because of that turd. I don't want to support a racist. Anyway, Nobody 2, go see it. It was excellent. All right, let's move on to the first story. We have a new name for MSNBC, and it's fucking dumb. Now I have to make this episode explicit. I never do that. It's called MS Now. This comes from the New York Times. Goodbye, MSNBC. Hello, MS Now. Written by Benjamin Mullen. The name is very backwards. In fact, I would say it's probably one of the worst television names out there. I would say it's one of the worst names of anything. It's worse than Versant. Versant is the name of the company, of its new parent company. It's so stupid. Here's what happened. NBC Universal is spinning off the cable networks, including USA, MSNBC, CNBC, Golf Channel, basically Oxygen, Sci-Fi, E, and Universal Kids, which is still going. That's crazy. Anyway. Oh, no. Versant's only going to include CNBC, Fandango, E, Golf Channel, MSNBC, Oxygen, Sci-Fi, and USA, and Sports Engine. I don't know. I assume Universal Kids is going to be shut down. I can't imagine that still goes from this point forward. Oh, it's done. Yeah. Universal Kids is dead. Okay. Anyway, so they're spinning off the company, and they're keeping Peacock, NBC Sports, whatever. The parent company will still be Comcast, a little bit. They'll have 33%. I don't know the true ownership. It's going to have the same structure as Comcast. Oh, and then it's going to trade independently after that. Okay, well, anyway, MSNBC, they can't keep the affiliation with NBC. I don't know what CNBC is going to turn into. I assume we'll get a name for that soon enough. But it'll be MS Now. The thing is, all the comments I saw online were that the MS in the MSNBC stood for Microsoft. So why can't they keep the NBC part? Anyway, My Source News Opinion World, one of the dumbest names I've ever seen for a company, including Singular Wireless. I've been on a real kick of watching just old episodes of X-Play. And Attack of the Show. I miss old G4. I think there's a way it could still be around right now, and yes, I did watch the new one. I'm just saying, and the Attack as well. I'm just saying, I think there's a way that it could still exist. I miss it. I also last night watched Lunatics Unleashed, the kids WB Saturday morning cartoon starring Looney Tunes characters in unleashed form. It's a great show. There's just something that those shows awaken in me. There's a safety. Anyway, it's such a dumb name. It's just a dumb name. And Rebecca Cutler, who's the current president of MSNBC, said in a memo that they're going to still provide breaking news and best-in-class opinion journalism. It just feels like they cobbled together 5 different words. My Source, okay, News, Opinion, World. It just doesn't make sense. Please stop. Stop. Move. Move. Good Lord. I get what they're trying to. Oh, excuse. Yeah. See, MSN was a throwback to Microsoft, developed in the 1990s. It just feels like they're overreaching, they're overstepping. How can you combat your biggest rival is Fox News? So how can you combat that company, that network, when you have a stupid name and they trounce you in the ratings? Like it doesn't make sense that you come back with 5 words, 2 of them that only deal with each other, and the 3 that are just dealt with with slashes. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like the news world, along with the cable, along with the television world, is in an upheaval that is going to take a downturn when you look at it from a broader picture. We have companies coming together where 5 years ago they were apart. 6 years ago they were apart. 7, 8, 9, 10. It feels as though we keep this ebb and flow in an industry that doesn't need that much movement. My point is, we have all these streaming platforms, but now they're coming back together and creating a pseudo package where people can pick and choose what they want to watch, but in the end, it's all the same thing. YouTube TV, and then you have HBO Max, and then you have Disney Plus, and you have ESPN, and you have blah, blah, blah. And then people are going to be sectioned off and sheltered. and they're only going to watch what is the most popular or isn't. I know I'm going off on a lot of tangents here, but the idea that MSNBC, a name that is worldwide known, is going to transform into something that somebody would write as like a placeholder fake news channel on an action movie, on a B action movie that didn't want to pay for the MSNBC license or the CNN license. It's astounding to me. Speaking of news changes, if you're here in Atlanta, you will have noticed that there's been a soft launch of sorts when it comes to their change, to the change of the city of the local news. This comes from Adweek, written by Kevin Eck. CBS Atlanta to soft launch this weekend assures viewers on-air folk will know Atlanta. I'm going to make this as succinct as possible. The CBS affiliate, which renamed itself to Atlanta News First, which sounds like some alt-right bullshit. It renamed itself to Atlanta News First, I think last year or the year before. They, along with CBS, ran CBS Pro. They were a CBS affiliate channel, and so they were on the CBS network. All right. CBS also owns the CW, so there's the CBS owned CW network on local broadcast. And then if you live in the Atlanta area, I assume in Georgia as well, there's a network called Peachtree TV. That is like, I don't think everybody gets that. I think everybody gets that. I might be lying. That's on Peachtree TV. Anyway, so that's like those are three networks that CBS is on. So it's Atlanta News First and CBS broke up. So now CBS has has an affiliate that they own and run, I guess, here in Atlanta. They have their own weather. They have their own news. Oh, Jesus. And so they don't run local news. They don't run Atlanta News First News. They just run CBS News stuff on CBS, along with CBS Mornings, Ghosts. I can't think of any other CBS shows. Matlock. Atlanta News First moved over to WUPA, which is Channel 69. They switched to CBS Atlanta, and now they run acquired shows as well as roughly, and I'm not kidding, 12 hours worth of news a day, of local news a day. On top of that, there's also, they have Peachtree TV, and on that channel, they're going to be running, local sports and all that stuff. It's a clusterfuck. Truly it is. And it splintered the local news. But again, people are able to pick and choose what they want to watch. They brought in a meteorologist. They brought in CBS. CBS brought in meteorologists. They brought in managing editors and things like that. And right, last Saturday it launched on YouTube TV. That network, WUPA, is not a part of the multi-view. You can't put it. So if there's an Atlanta Dream game, which will be airing on CBS Atlanta and Peachtree TV, those two networks, then you can't. It's not going to be able. You're not going to be able to watch it. It's very strange because I don't think I can recall a time where an affiliate and a big name broadcaster broke up. I feel as though this is why Fox Broadcasting canceled all the shows that it doesn't own, so that it could just air shows it owns, including Animal Control and every show and Universal Basic Guys. So that it is able to not deal with this type of mess. I don't know the exact story, but there's changes. There's changes in the air. So now, I'm not going to include this next story. Okay, so yeah, okay. This comes from AtlantaNewsFirst.com. They have a schedule. And again, I'm not kidding. They run roughly 12 hours of news. And if I'm wrong about 12, it's more. Monday through Friday, starting at 4 a.m. through 10 a.m., they have the early edition. Then they have ATL Live, a show I applied to write on, a show I applied to also produce on. I did not get the job, obviously. And I tuned in this week for like 10 seconds, and I just thought, this is shitty. So they have ATL Live, which is their lifestyle show, and that airs from 10 to 11. And then there's also a block from 1 to 2. And then there's a news, Atlanta News First live at noon. So for an hour. The evening broadcasts start at 3 p.m. and continue until 6 p.m. At 6:30, they have First Alert Weather Extra. At 7 p.m., they've got news again. And then at 9, 10, and 11, they have more news. And then they have a sports overtime show, so 11:35 to 12, which is going to cater to Braves, Dream, Hawks, Falcons, Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, Atlanta United, and everything in between is what they write here. So from 4 a.m. until 12 a.m., oh, I was wrong. There's 16 hours of news. And then on the weekends, they have a Saturday and Sunday morning show from 8 to 10. They also have a political show that starts at 11 on Sunday. They have a live news show from 5 to 7:30 on Saturdays and 7 p.m. on Sunday. They have Uncovered, Atlanta News First Investigates on Sundays at 7 p.m., which is their investigative storytelling show. They have Atlanta Eats, which is a show that moved from Peachtree TV to Atlanta News First, Saturdays at 8 p.m. They have an interview show that's moving from Peachtree TV with Monica Pearson over to Atlanta News First on Sundays at 8. And then they have a news show that airs 9, 10, and 11 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. Oh, Jesus Christ. You can watch the show, you can watch the network, rather, for free on your streaming devices, or you can also just find the Atlanta News First app, or if you have an antenna or a streaming platform, and watch all that. Oh, God. I went to, for the first time in the few years that I've lived here, the 6 years that I've lived here. Stop. I went to our pool party. We had a pool party every year. I went to the pool party, and I met 2 people who also work in the news, and I went, great, this is wonderful. We can commiserate with one another. And one person works at Atlanta News First, and she said, she was like, have you applied to any of the jobs? And I went, I applied to 12 of them. Oh, God. This is where I'm diving into sports next. This is kind of tangential with it. Every year for the past couple of years, not every year, but every year for the past couple of years, I've gone to the Tour Championship, which is the PGA Tour Championship, not the tennis ones, and there's a soccer. I think there's multiple Tour Championships in the U.S. Anyway, I've gone to the Tour Championship here in Atlanta. It takes place at the East Lake Golf Course. I go by myself or with a friend, but more often than not by myself. And I'll park in a neighborhood and I'll walk the half a mile over. Secret spot. And this year's the first year I don't have a ticket for the Sunday, and I'm like scrambling to find a ticket. A, to be cheap. B, I just want to go. But also, it looks like it might rain. I want to go. I want to have a nice time. Let's see what the weekend forecast looks like. Oh, it's going to be mostly cloudy. 24% chance of rain. I'm excited. Hey, speaking of sports, the new ESPN app dropped, as well as the new Fox streaming app, if you're a fan of that, Fox One. Fox One does have ESPN Beat with their platform. In that, I can go to fox.com/home. This is not something I will do ever again, besides the one time I checked to see if it worked, and besides right now. You, with HBO Max, with other streaming platforms, HBO Max with Paramount Plus. No, not Paramount Plus. Anyway, with a lot of streaming platforms, you can take your subscription if you're subscribed to Hulu with live TV or Charter Spectrum or YouTube TV or Dish Network, and you can just sign into those apps, the streaming apps, with your provider. Fox One, you can do that. It launched yesterday, August 21st. With ESPN, you can also do that, but you can't do it with YouTube TV right now. So that sucks. So I logged in after I got off the bike yesterday morning. I went, let me log into ESPN and see what this new app is like. I'll never use it, but let me see it. It only takes the traditional TV provider. You don't get the ESPN Ultimate, which includes the streaming stuff, essentially. But this comes from The Athletic, written by Andrew Marchand. Why ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro is making a big bet on streaming. So they have this new direct-to-consumer. Oh, we're never talking about the Fox One ever again. The Fox One app is you get all of the. No, I don't want recommendations. You get Fox News, Fox Sports. You also get the Fox Broadcasting, as well as Fox Business too. I'll never use it because I'm not a racist. When I worked at Bounce TV, the person that sat next to me prior to the pandemic, I can't remember his name. He's a very, very nice guy, like overtly nice, like way too nice. He always kept Fox News on in the corner of his computer every day. And hey, so ESPN is in around 61 million homes today. They get around $15 per subscriber monthly from distributors for all of its networks. It's still a good amount of money, but it lacks, buddy, chill out. It lacks in comparison to the 100 million subscribers that they had in 2010. So like every other network, every other broadcaster out there, they're shifting towards the streaming idea that people will pay $30 per month. People who don't have YouTube TV or Hulu with Live TV or Sling or Fubo, who want more than ESPN Plus. They want to get all their ESPN action, their sports news, along with games and 30 for 30 and stuff like that. They want people who want that. They want this direct to consumer thing. They're betting big that people are going to do that. And, I can see that these numbers will probably grow in 6 months. I don't know if it'll be the same kind of exponential growth that we saw with Disney Plus, but people do want their sports. And this is going to be a great way for that person who fell off of ESPN to come back in for at least for the football season, which is starting now, or for hockey season. Or I don't think they have baseball anymore, or they're ending the baseball. So this is going to be good for that person. And then if they're going to be able to bundle it for right now, for $30 a month with Disney Plus and Hulu, then they might as well. And then go, okay, great. I'm going to be able to get these sports. I'm going to be able to watch ESPN, and then they can get Fox One and Peacock, and then boom, they've got all the sports available to them for less than, what was it, 30 plus? I'll do the math, Chad. 30 plus 20, because Fox One's 20. 30 plus 20, that's 50. Plus Peacock is 12, I think, 12 or 13. So for less than $70, you're going to be able to get all the sports you want to be able to watch. It's an idea we've seen before, but they are ready. They are ready for this. They've poured $80 billion into live sports as Jimmy has taken leadership. For the NBA, they've got, starting this year, they've 11 years, they put $28.6 billion. For the NFL, starting in 2023, 10 years, $27 billion. College football playoffs, 6 years starting this year, $7.8 billion. MLB, 7 years starting in 2022, $3.92. Tennis, 12 years and 2026, $2.4 billion. WWE, 2026, 5 years, $1.6 billion. Golf, 2022, 11 years, $1 billion. Wait, really? What? I'm watching all of my golf matches on. Oh, that's right. Because I used to be able to watch golf on ESPN Plus, and then I stopped subscribing. Interesting. It's a big move. And they're also hoping that people are going to watch the shows that are on ESPN as well. First Take, Get Up, the rest. I don't know. I mean, I don't talk to anybody about what they watch on ESPN, but I can't name one person who watches those shows. This next one comes from Steve Zeitchik at The Hollywood Reporter. ESPN believes a new app will save the company. Now, if they can spend money like that, I don't think that, people are, the company is failing in any sort of way. They've got 47,000 live events. You can do the studio shows, 30 for 30, anything that ESPN aired. I would like to see with this, for $30 a month, I would like to see with this streaming platform more Ocho shows or specials, ESPN Ocho stuff. Because people really like that. I really like that. I like to see the Ocho stuff. They have also got this interesting thing called Verts, which you can access right now. They're leveraging AI when you log onto the platform. First of all, this is a very big issue I've had with ESPN for a very long time, which is why I'm so glad that The Athletic is available through New York Times, even though a lot of people were fired. There's too much video, and I want to read a lot of sports stuff. I don't want to see Get Up and any of those morons talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I just want to read about my Dallas Cowboys. That's it. So it's still on the same ESPN app. ESPN Unlimited is what they're calling it. But they have this thing that is, hey, I follow this guy on LinkedIn, Omar Raha. He's an interesting guy. He created House of Highlights, and then ESPN hired him. Anyway, so they have this TikTok-like feed called Verts, and you just scroll through, and it follows your interests. So I watch golf, I watch tennis, I watch basketball, I watch football. Right now, the Tour Championship is happening, and also they have the U.S. Open as well. There's also multiple U.S. Opens. So I have two NBA things. I have a WNBA thing. That's great. NFL, all right. And then betting. I don't follow betting. I don't care about betting. Anyway, it's more or less the same app. If you're watching the video, I'm not going to pull up the website. It's too much work. So it's more or less the same app. Yes, I can click on things and start watching them. For some of them, I can't because YouTube TV is not a part of the affiliation yet, I assume it will be at some point, then you'll be able to watch, shows like the ESPN original The Kingdom, as well as ESPN Plus stuff, which includes different camera angles of PGA tours, different tennis matches that are happening that aren't on television. It's more or less the same thing. Oh, and they also have a personalized sports center, which is so crazy. I turned it on yesterday, and they have the voice of hold on, I got to find out who the voice is. Oh, I got one voice. So they have Hannah Storm, Omar Raha, and two other voices. I got one voice, and I don't remember who the guy was. It was a different person. But it's AI generated, and it'll say, "Hey Chad, this is your sports center," and then they'll go and talk about that stuff. And there's also so much interactivity, which I'm not a huge fan of. So you'll be able to curate stuff like Madden and NBA 2K25. Oh no, wait, hold on, never mind. You'll be able to do some. It'll be a curation. Sports Center for You is what it's called. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Sorry, I'm quickly reading what I usually do. Oh Lord, oh my goodness, they used AI to NBC used AI to recreate Jim Fagan's voice. I didn't know that in an ad for Peacock and Round Ball Rock. I had no idea using Round Ball Rock. I had no idea. That's insane. Now, ESPN's operating income fell by 17% this quarter in January through March, the first quarter of this year, but it still earned $650 million. This will probably bring in a lot more money for them, which is excellent, to say the least. But it'll be tricky, because I do think that the idea to have this included with your streaming pay package is great. But is it going to be enough? And I think what investors will only see are the numbers. Hey, this many people have access to ESPN, so we're going to count that. And so that will be what that is. But will it be something that people glom onto in the end and continually watch? Because again, a lot of people, Denzel Washington included, think that there are too many people commenting in the world of sports who don't know anything about sports. And it's true. I would say sports analysis is worse than cable news. I would rather watch cable news shows than watch First Take or really hear anything that Stephen A. Smith has to say. Or watch anything on FS1, with the exception, and I will continually say this, with the exception of the niche networks or the niche shows. That's why Inside the NBA was so good, and we're only going to get one episode of that this year, which really sucks. But Good Morning Football, I think, prior to the LA move, that was a wonderful show, because it was just people talking about football and also making it fun and funny. Prior to the LA move, the NBA Network had a lot of good analysts as well, and good shows. MLB Network, when I had access to it from YouTube TV, was nice and chill. And, that's the thing. That's what the thing is. I just don't like these people yelling and talking about sports and trying to be, entertaining and fun. Recently, I have gone on a search for, and I hate to do this, but I've gone on a search for podcasts about sports, and I liked All the Smoke. I don't tune into that show often, if at all. I like All the Smoke, but I tuned into two in particular. No Laying Up, which is a golf podcast. I've not listened to a lot of it, but I've listened to some episodes, and I enjoy just a nice, good conversation about golf. And then Andy Roddick also has a tennis podcast, and I think it's great. I think he's a good interviewer, and yeah. I'm sure there are more. I would love to find a good basketball podcast. But for what it's worth, even on SiriusXM, the NFL channel, the NBA channel, the PGA channel, it's just people talking. I don't need all the visuals and the bright lights and all that stuff and the trying to be funny. It works in that on that spec. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm very hungry. Also, I have to feed things in this house. You may have seen me reaching around for. Well, first of all, hold on. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com. We'll keep an eye on this ESPN thing. cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. Sometimes you want to watch a video version of this show as well as a video version of the other podcasts. Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. It's on hiatus at the moment. And LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast, is back from hiatus. Go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can also see the video version of me talking to celebrities under the interviews. Subscribe to all those shows wherever you get your podcasts. You want to follow us on social media? TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky at cpluscomedy, me at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.